Hello, welcome to Amateur Hour episode 37. Trent, you ready for a little Cyclone talk over here?
A little Cyclone Quickie Pod here.
Yeah, a little Cyclone Quickie.
Yeah.
That's what they called me in college, the Cyclone Quickie. So, appreciate everyone joining us here tonight. Like I said, we'll just do a little, we haven't caught up too much on Iowa basketball here. We've been too busy glazing over how much we love Iowa State this past weekend here. As you know what, I'll say it, as much as we had a lot of talent, Hilton Magic was alive and well as we beat Kansas 79-75, Trent.
Yeah, what a great weekend for Cyclone athletics. A great week.
Yeah, really overall we broke Purple Kansas. That felt really good. They're now on a 3-game losing streak. Not have a little Schadenfreude, but I do.
They are in shambles right now.
Hilton is breaking coaches. Jerome Tang is just accusing of cheating, and then he just loses 3 straight. No more cheating accusations after that for some reason. I don't know.
He did something in the game before too. Was accusing whoever they played, but ever since the game versus Iowa State, they've lost their last 2 games by a combined 46 points.
Well, and honestly, like I've kind of like, because whenever I see a coach like that, or in the Big 12, I'm kind of curious, and I look up, like, even on Wildcat Twitter, they're like, no, this guy, he's never had a game plan unless he has a star on the team that's just going to bail him out like they had last year and got to the Elite Eight. He doesn't have any offense, and you saw it in Hilton. Hey, let's hold the ball for about 20 seconds and then let's scramble to figure out who's going to just jack up a shot. It's like, you're not going to succeed at doing that.
No, not at all.
So, no, we broke Kansas State last week, and we talked about that a little bit. More importantly, Bill Self looking good. He's lost a lot of weight since the heart attack. He was looking good.
Yeah.
I think maybe he looked a little better in the light as Iowa State beat him. But damn it, can I admit something to you, Trent? Are we in the trust tree?
I think I might admit the same thing back to you, if I know where you're going with this.
Are you starting to like Bill Self a little bit?
Yeah.
God damn you! Same thing, man.
He's becoming likable. He's becoming more human.
Yeah, no, exactly. He used to see, it was all that burger grease and steaks, and it just corroded his arteries and just clogged him up, and it made him just an aggressive, mean person. And then he got everything taken care of in the offseason. Now he's a little more lighthearted. He was smiling at the breakdancing cop. That was I don't know where the hell the guy came from. I can't figure out if he was a dancer or if he was a cop that just broke out there. I'm going to assume a dancer, but he was having a chuckle over there. Him and TJ were, I'll be honest, I think they were kind of like making jokes about Jerome Tang. It looked like literally, what could they, after a tough game like that, be laughing and slapping faces and whatever. But
yeah. So I had this text conversation with Brittany Brewbreaker, Clark's wife. Yeah. She texted me a screenshot about the whole versus Iowa State thing when somebody yelled from behind the bench, "Bill, you look stressed." And he turned around and said, "Because I am."
Yes, and I am.
She said he's a good guy. Even in the middle of an ugly loss, he has a sense of humor. I said, yeah, I saw that. And then I also saw he was laughing with the police officer doing the juicy wiggle. He seems like he's being more down to earth and more human lately. Hard not to like him nowadays, is what I said. But then I had to remind her of this.
Bill Self, he's a bad guy.
Bill Self. See, when he breaks our heart, probably in the Big 12 tournament or something, we'll play that and we'll hate him again. But
it's easy to like him when we're winning against him.
Yeah.
But then I said, Amelia still has her opinions, though.
But I think we talked about it the other day, man. My buddy TJ got us tickets to the game, and we were watching it. That atmosphere was electric, dude. From the start to the finish, they have really, and they did it in football a little bit. We're still kind of lacking in the whole environment, and that's because the few games I did were on, I'm not gonna say prime time, but they're on television enough where like you had the long media timeouts that really drug out, and the energy just dropped off, you know. But Hilton, they have, I think they've got it down to a science on keeping the crowd active and keeping them. I can't remember when it was. It was after, I think, one of the Trey King threes. Bill called his timeout immediately. Make sure that, let's stop this momentum right now. and then they just played Juicy Wiggle, the cops dancing. And oddly enough, it was weird. They had one of the longer media timeouts. He let his team off like 90 seconds early, and they're just standing around watching everyone go fucking hype. And TJ took that whole time to get him prepped, and immediately we had a defensive stop and another score. And it's just I don't know. Everything was working on Saturday, that's for sure. Even the energy in the stadium helped. But
yeah, TJ Otzelberger mentioned in his post-game press conference that was the best atmosphere he's ever been a part of in Hilton, and he's been around for a while. I mean, he's been the head coach. This is his third year as a head coach, and
yeah,
he was an assistant coach for a while, under Hoiberg, and even was he there before that as well? So he's been around Hilton a long time. So
yeah, I wouldn't say he was part of probably the one that's probably closest is either it was one of the Iowa games. I cannot remember which one, and it sounds bad. I think it was the Aaron White year where they were just going off, and we were cheering so loud that their 90% free throw shooter missed both shots at the end. I cannot remember which one it was because I'll be honest, all Iowa basketball players look the same to me. I'm not trying to say anything controversial. I can't tell them apart though. There's like you could say 4 names in a row. I'd be like, that's it. But I know it wasn't Aaron White, but I think it was Aaron White.
Yeah, recycle those players.
It was either that game where we were just going off, or the Kansas game where we were. I know I was out there 2 hours early and barely got in. I was in the upper decks, and it was like one of the first big Kansas upsets in some time. I think it was, what it was. I think it was the BB gun shooting the bus. It was that game where they were going off.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was not us. I don't know if it was from the grassy knoll or where it was, but like I said, that has to be up there on some of the top environments. At least I've been in. And it was, yeah. Again, fun time when you're winning too.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
What's so Iowa State's record right now in the Big 12 is have they lost 2 games?
Bottom of the screen, they're 5-2.
5-2, yeah. So people are saying that 6 losses might win the conference this year.
That wouldn't shock me, man. I wouldn't say Texas Tech, I believe, is still in the lead.
Yes,
but
Houston is.
Houston is, so Tech finally did lose.
Houston is leading.
Yep, 6-2.
Iowa State, Texas Tech are tied. Iowa State has the second best betting odds to win the Big 12, though, behind Houston.
Well, you look at the end of the year, it's very friendly. I mean, we do have, and we were talking about this pre-pod, we've had a week to prep for this game. I'm not feeling good about this Baylor game, man. They have kind of been, seems like they've been playing well lately. They're in that new arena. For some reason, when we get the attention on us, when everyone is expecting us, we never live up to the occasion.
Yeah, and I believe we probably talked about this on an amateur hour during football season that, we have a week off and Iowa State goes and plays. Did they play Cincinnati after their bye week in football this year?
Yeah.
Which they won, but it would be so much like Iowa State to jump to 12th in the polls. You are cruising.
You've heard all week how great you are.
Yes. Didn't have to play during the week. You've got all week to prepare for Baylor and just lay a giant turd right in the middle of that court.
At the beginning of the road trip, too.
Yes.
They have to play at Texas as well this next week.
Like, we've just seen it too many times as Iowa State fans.
Now, to be positive, I think this team is built a little different. They've been playing their asses off for 40 minutes every single game this year. Doesn't matter if it's Eastern Illinois or Kansas. They've played full 40 minutes, and I think you're starting to see it in some of these games where our depth is starting to show as well. I think this is the year where we can break that. It's just being Cyclone fans your whole life. I agree. I will feel good if we go 1-1. 0-2, it would suck, but I would even be tolerant. I mean, the Big 12 is a fucking gauntlet, man.
It is. Yeah. And, if you're going to lose some games in the Big 12, and that's okay. Like the NCAA tournament, the March Madness tournament rating, it's not going to fall too much losing to another Big 12 team.
I'm looking at it as well. A lot of the ranked teams that we play, not that there's any schlubs in this league, but a lot of the ranked teams we're playing left this year are at home. Like we mentioned, we play at Baylor over the weekend. They're 18th.
Yep.
TCU's home at the beginning or middle of February. Home versus Texas Tech the same week. At Houston, number 4, and then home versus Oklahoma and home versus BYU, and both of those can be revenge games. So,
yeah,
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about it, man. Even our road games, there's not a super tough one I see other than Baylor. Or I'm sorry, Houston. I'm just
Houston.
I will be honest. I already default that as a loss. Unless we can keep this momentum going, I think Houston's going to have a chip on their shoulder. They were. Sampson was fucking livid after the game. You remember that? How he just wouldn't give us any credit either. It was all his players.
Yeah, that was
not us.
Yeah, really weird press conference.
So no, I'm feeling pretty good about this one. If we can go 1-1, and I've gotten a little better with like, oh my god, we went 1-1. We should have beat. If we go 1-1 this week before the next pod when we talk, we're gonna be sitting pretty.
Yep.
So. No, I'm trying to think what else I had. Nothing. I think the men's basketball, anyways. Wait, you want to talk? You want to get the women's basketball portion out of the way?
Yeah.
I mean, real quick. What was the score of the Iowa State game? We can at least get our little part in. They won tonight. You said.
Yeah, Iowa State women, they did win tonight. They beat Oklahoma State at home. Let me see. I can't remember what the score was. They won by like 8 or 10 or something like that. Of course, I can't find it.
Well, you're finding that Brad's asking what the Vegas odds are on. I'm going to assume you mean for basketball here. I know I caught it preseason when we were plus 15,000, and I put some money on it. And I'll be honest, I'm feeling pretty good about that future now. I'm trying to see what they have us right now for the national championship here. I would have to assume at plus we're plus 15,000. We got to be way better than that at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Iowa State beat Oklahoma State tonight. It was 78-67, so they won by 11. The freshmen are just carrying this team. They have 5 freshmen that are just balling right now. Audie Crooks. 29 points, 8 rebounds. Addie Brown, she had 14 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. So fairly close to a triple double. So crazy.
Iowa State right now to win the national championship in basketball plus 6,000. So I would say we're moving up right now in the overall rankings. Iowa, if you want to really make some money, plus 75,000. So get your money now if you need to make a big house payment. So right now I'm worried about if they make the tournament, man. They've had a solid week or so, but
yeah,
I think they're going to have a good last month here or win the Big Ten tournament in order to make it. Because so far from the beginning of the year, they haven't. We've talked about it, they just never had the shooters early on, and they've won some games that shocked me, but they've also lost some very winnable ones, like Michigan.
Yeah, and they've had a couple games within the last couple weeks where they are either up big and they blow a 10-point lead in the last couple minutes, or they're down by 10 in the last couple minutes and come back. Like their games are just been crazy.
No, actually, sorry. We'll get back to Caitlin Clark there because Brad's asking about the Cyclone football, and I'll be honest, I'd rather talk about that right now because I know a lot more than that than shocker. Caitlin Clark scoring a lot of points here, but Brad, we're gonna have to agree with you here, man. This football schedule is probably the best I've felt in some time with where we're gonna be next year. I'm gonna self-own us a little bit. It's kind of nice having the easy schedule. We poke fun at Iowa the last few years for having the Big Ten West. There's no juggernauts in this new Big 12 right now that's gonna, run the conference, if you will, like Oklahoma has the last. Besides the last 3 years, the last decade before that,
Yeah.
Going through this schedule here, man, versus North Dakota, at Iowa, versus
win
by week, then home versus Arkansas State,
win,
At Houston.
Win.
Versus Baylor at home.
Win.
At West Virginia.
Win.
Versus UCF.
Win.
And then a bye week. Now, that's the easy stretch of our schedule. The toughest one easily is Iowa. Maybe at West Virginia is probably the next one.
Yeah.
UCF speed is a little concerning, but I think with the amount of starters we're going to have, I think we're going to be sitting just fine. But we have a bye week, and then this is the tough stretch of our schedule. Going into November when, let's be honest, we know what the weakness with Matt Campbell is right now. It's September. Getting into October, November, December, he usually kicks it up a notch. But we have home versus Texas Tech.
Win.
At Kansas. At Kansas on the road, but it's at Arrowhead Stadium.
We all know what happens to Iowa State when they play in Arrowhead.
Oh no. but how's it gonna end?
But win.
Yeah, for sure. Home versus Cincinnati.
Win.
Little revenge game with Coach Veit that just became their DC over there.
Yeah.
Then we have to go at Utah. That's probably
loss.
You think so?
Yeah.
We dominated the last time we went to Ohio or to Utah, buddy, versus BYU.
Yeah, well, this ain't BYU.
And then versus Kansas State at home.
Win by 50.
50? Hold on. Actually, yep, Abu Sama just scored another touchdown there, Trent. So
half 100.
So if I'm doing my math right here, do you have us at 11-1 right now?
11-1. You're way too early Cyclone schedule prediction right here.
Yeah.
Corey Yeager says we're going to start 1-4.
Start 1-4. Get the fuck out of here.
Lose to North Dakota, beat Iowa, lose to Arkansas State, and lose to Houston. Sounds about right.
I would legit consider that just so all these Iowa fans can shut the fuck up. They need to concern about playing a real schedule now. They don't play the Big Ten West, Corey.
We talked about this before we came on too with your new offensive coordinator. Now he's not 131st anymore.
Yeah,
he was 127th when he got fired from Western Michigan. That technically that is a step up.
Yeah, you know what? I just have a little personal vendetta with their new offensive coordinator. Iowa hired Tim Lester. For those that don't know, he was previously the head coach at Western Michigan, and then this last year he was an analyst for the Packers. I'm just going to say fuck Tim Lester for making me think that Sky Moore was going to be a good draft pick. So far, he hadn't shown shit for the Chiefs, that's what's also scary is, I don't think it's being rude to say that Iowa's offense hasn't been the greatest, and the receivers haven't needed to be great because they never throw the ball, so they don't recruit it as well. If this Tim Lester can make Sky Moore look good enough where the Chiefs and whoever else was looking at him in the first, second round pick, I mean, he can probably make the receivers that Iowa has right now with the level that they recruit those at. He can probably make them look pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Time will tell.
They still got Cade McNamara. They still have Kirk at the helm.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the biggest thing. Are you going to let this guy who is your offensive coordinator, who is supposed to just be the one calling the plays, are you going to let him just run it, or are you going to hover over again and have the exact same thing that happened to your son, that happened to Ken O'Keefe, that happened to who else? Greg Davis? Did I get
that who it was?
I think so.
Sounds right.
I can't remember. Now they're arguing. Brad says Iowa's offense is going to be run, pass, punt, and Yeager says no, it's going to be punt, run. I agree. They'll just keep the defense on their toes for the first couple drives.
Do you follow Chris Hassel on anything? Twitter? Yeah. Do you see it? He does his Carl Peppers punt coordinator. He put out a statement today. The punt coordinator, he's happy with the new offensive coordinator because he runs this RPO offense. That's run punt option. Now that they don't have Torrey Taylor, so Cade McNamara, if the run isn't open, he's just going to punt.
Is that rugby style as they call it, or is that like Austin style where they run and punt it?
Yeah, rugby style.
So, no, I think I'll pull up. Going back to Iowa State football, real football in real heartland of America. legitimately, not early on, if you would tell me 8 or 9 wins, I can very well see it on that schedule. I think Utah is going to be the toughest one,
Yep.
one of the toughest. I'll be honest. We play 2 of the same games. We play Iowa and we play at Utah. At Iowa and at Utah, they're both the same team. They're both led by 20-year tenured coaches that have a strong defense, and the offense doesn't need to do as much as it needs to. We play 2 of the same games. The only benefit we have is Utah's at the end of the year compared to Iowa at the beginning of the year, when we need to. Campbell needs to figure something out on how to start a year.
Yes. Yeah, let's not play our non-con terrible. Like, come on.
Oh, sorry.
Let's get off to a hot start.
Matt Matthews is talking some shit in the chat about how it's easy to go 10-2, 11-1 when you don't have to play Oklahoma. I'll agree. I'm not sad to see Oklahoma off of our schedule. That makes me feel a lot better.
I've said it multiple times. Oklahoma, the new Arkansas of the SEC.
Ooh, shit. Matthews, let us know what Oklahoma's going to out. Their schedule's out. SEC, they had a SEC slobberfest about a month or so ago with the SEC schedule release. Let us know what Oklahoma's going to finish next year while we move on here. But yeah, I mean, I don't think we could have drawn up a more favorable schedule. We're going to be pissed in about 3 years when we don't have Farmageddon. But I'll be honest, that was the best case scenario that we could have had with very winnable games. Iowa's the toughest one in the first 7 games, and then have a bye week to prep for the final month stretch there.
Yeah. ISU better not look past North Dakota.
I agree. I will 100% agree, man.
I saw North Dakota play live this year versus South Dakota State, and Iowa State's going to beat them by 50.
Iowa State doesn't play well in September, and South Dakota State is a national champion, man. There's some levels to that one. But
this is the Fighting Hawks. Be honest. This is not the Bison. Like, let's be real here.
It just worries me because, like, and this is 2 completely different level teams, but I saw them play tough versus Nebraska last year. They were the game, I believe, that I think it was the game before or the week that Scott Frost got fired. Mm-hmm. So I know they have some talent there. They're not North Dakota State level.
That's so. When I went to the game, South Dakota State was obviously ranked number 1, and North Dakota was ranked number 11. And at that level, FCS, just between 1 and 11, just the size of the players, the speed difference, strength, just the talent level, and now they're going to jump up to the Big 12. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes when I was up there.
Hey, when you're trying to play a team that picks up wide receivers from Army and linemen from Princeton, you're not going to have a chance, buddy.
We get national champions to play at Iowa State.
We haven't, and we'll see a big surge after spring ball. We haven't seen anyone really leave either. Maybe they're trying to get some film before spring ball and leave after that. But I was really shocked after the season that there wasn't more people leaving, because we do have so many starters coming back.
Yeah.
But maybe they don't want to drop a level. I know we had a couple guys go to Charlotte, and a lot of them went down a level so they could play a lot more. It just kind of feels like Iowa and Iowa State and these other schools that aren't going to have the money like Ohio State and Michigan, they're able to kind of keep some of these guys that they want to develop. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be able to buy it like USC or anything. No. So it feels good to see that there wasn't a big exodus on these players that didn't quite play as much. And really the ones we've talked about before, the ones that did leave, it's kind of trimming the fat, to be honest, because then we can sign a Caleb Bacon or something.
Yep.
So, no, we'll maybe we'll get a little more realistic closer to football, but Trent's going to go crazy and say 11-1. I'll be more realistic and say the first 10-win season in school history.
11-1, 10-2. We're not homers.
Yeah, we're realists here. 10-2. Easy.
If we were homers, we'd say undefeated, but
we're. I'll be honest, with that schedule, legitimately, you get Iowa State's best game every week. 12-0 isn't crazy, but we know where Iowa
It
State
ain't.
is weak, and we're going to have a game where we shit the
Yeah,
bed.
that ain't gonna happen.
No, Matthew's on. We're getting to it, but you don't have to shit on just because. Hold on, actually, we'll get to what we're talking about. Caitlin Clark is now the second all-time scorer in women's basketball here. So she just passed Kelsey Mitchell of Ohio State from a few years back. She's second all-time with 3,416 points. She's only behind right now Kelsey Plum from a few years back, from 2017, it looks like. She has 3,527 points all time. She's 111 points away, and she averages 28 points a game.
So she'll probably do it in the next 4 games ish.
I was looking at it before the season because I believe she's actually raised her average a little bit because she's had to do everything with this with this team this year. I predicted preseason it was going to be the Illinois game, and that was 2 games before the end. And to be honest, that's we're not even going to make it to the Illinois game. She's going to pass it well before.
Yeah, she'd probably do it in the next 4 to 5 games. If she did that, say in 4 games, that'd be her 125th career game. So she's going to do that in about 14 less games than Kelsey Plum.
Mm-hmm. If she's smart, or if Lisa Bluter's smart, because she could go off. They got to play at Maryland, Penn State, at Nebraska. I don't know anything about those schools if she could really go off. But if they were really smart, they would bench her in one of those games or slow up so she could beat the record at home. You don't want to break that record at Nebraska, your biggest rival. I would think you'd rather hold off and do that on prime time. It looks like Thursday the 15th versus Michigan. I mean, hopefully she does it in that because it's road home, and then road again at Indiana, at number 10 Indiana.
So if she did it the next 4 games, it'd be at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say 100 what did we say? 111 points.
111 is what she needs. Yeager says she might pass Pistol Pete. I actually said that before we came on. I said, don't talk to me about it until she becomes the all-time leading scorer, men and women's. Passing Pete Maravich.
Pete Maravich. Do you know, off the top of your head, do you know how many points he scored all time?
Like 4,000 something's crazy. He averaged like 45 points a game.
Yeah, and he was shooting from 3-point line when there was no 3-point line.
Yes.
All right, sorry, I'm getting it pulled up here.
I looked this up not too long ago. It was like, I can't remember, 4,500 points or something like that.
All time. Oh, just show me the points. I don't. Well, I mean, this is why it's called amateur hour, man. We're not the best with our records here. Pete Maravich.
I got it right here.
Total points.
3,667 points. So I was off on the 4,000 something. Yeah, averaged 44.2 points per game.
Okay, 3667, you said?
3667, yes.
And then minus what she's got, 3427 or something?
Dude, she's going to pass that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be with ease, yeah.
Yeah.
3424. She only has to have 243 points to have the most all-time score, and she has one more year, right?
Yeah, she has an extra year of eligibility, I believe.
Yeah.
She will be able to pass that by the time they get to the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, easily. She'll pass that, and we've said it forever. Yeah, you can get you can go to the WNBA or whatever. Stay another year and just make this record so fucking unbelievably hard to achieve.
Yes.
And you're going to be cemented in history. Again, everyone knows if you watch any college basketball, or have any interest, you pretty much know who Pistol Pete is because he's all time. You can just be that legend status. So now, Trent, you were talking earlier about how there's another player that's not getting her dues in women's college basketball.
Let me go back to that.
Daisha Fair for Syracuse. Mike Hughes?
Yeah, so Daisha Fair, she plays for Syracuse. She started out at Buffalo. She's also an active player right now.
Yeah, active player.
That
What's she on the
that
list here?
she's ninth right now.
No one's even heard of Daisha Fair before
No,
right now. She's
ninth
ninth
on the
all
list.
time. Ashley Jones for Iowa State. She's 11th all time. No one heard her name, but Caitlin Clark. We got to make sure that we all know the one woman, even though there's multiple that's doing this right now.
Yeah, so this Daisha Fair, she started in 2019, so the year before Caitlin Clark. She played in 20 more games, 141 games.
Big whoop. She's still up there, ninth all time. It doesn't matter if she
Yep.
jacks up all the threes. She's got a decent shot. Let's see here. I mean, she's probably going to be top. If she has a hell of the end of the year, she's probably going to be top 6 all time.
Yep.
And you haven't heard of her this year at all.
Yeah, so here on this list, Ashley Jones from Iowa State is on there. I can see probably the top 20. Ashley Jones averaged the least amount per game.
So she was the one she just played in the most games, huh?
She played in 158 games. That's the most on this list.
Still counts.
158 games, 19.3 points per game.
Now I got a problem here because Matthews in the chat was talking about how bad is your athletics department when your biggest star this millennium is a woman's basketball player. I distinctly heard Mr. Matthews talking about a softball team, about how great it was they were undefeated, and talking to us like I give a crap if the softball team. So don't make fun of someone else's women's basketball or athletics achievement, and then go around spouting softball national championships and undefeated streaks, buddy. We you can't discriminate like that, Matthews. Golly. I can't wait till Oklahoma goes to the SEC and they show them what true softball's all about.
That's right.
We all know we're all going to keep up with softball now just so we can shit on Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
We're not, well, at least we're not softball school. Well, true. Well, true. I didn't say, but you're not quite a football school anymore. So
no.
New Arkansas.
You go 6-6.
Well, okay. I like to shut Oklahoma. If they win 6-6, I think Matthews wouldn't be a fan. I don't see that one at all.
I don't think they'll go 6-6. I think they'll be a little better than that. I just had to throw it out there.
But they'll lose to Texas for sure. Sark with that evil just look. I just don't like the guy. He's just got an evil look. He yells at employees that are just trying to hold him back. I mean, I don't know, man.
Dude's a psycho.
He's a psycho. But they got Arch Manning backing up Quinn Ewers. I mean, how do you lose with that, man?
You pay that guy all that money to come there, the number one recruit in forever, and hey buddy, that bench over there is looking a little cold. Go warm it up.
Texas and Georgia, the new kings of the SEC, if I had to guess.
Yep. Hey, Quinn's looking thirsty. Arch, go grab that water bottle for him.
So Texas is going to be up so much on Oklahoma. Is that what you're saying, that Manning's going to be able to get in?
Yeah.
I have a feeling Manning's going to transfer out. Even if he backs up Quinn next year, I bet you he just leaves. You sit on the bench for 2 years out of Texas, and if you weren't quite good enough there, I don't know. It's in this NIL era, unless maybe he's okay with making the $3 million on the bench. I just think he transfers, man.
I do too. He'll be able to transfer literally anywhere.
Yeah. No, exactly. Even if he wouldn't start somewhere, they will take the transfer for the name itself.
Yep. So. And he'll transfer. He could start pretty much anywhere too.
Mm-hmm. Texas losing 2/3 of their starters. Well, buddy, have you seen their budget? They're just going to buy the rest of the players.
Reload.
So no, I wouldn't say it. That is going to be the new thing we're going to have to get used to in the next 5 years or so as well. Is all of these teams that are to that level, Oklahoma, Texas, Georgia, where Matthews just say they lost 2/3 of their starters. They shouldn't be able to, but they are recruiting at such a high blue chip like ratio level where everything's 5 4-star, or they can just simply buy whoever they want that's either backing up or like Alabama was like a fire sale. You hear about all these schools like Ohio State that's going all in on that Caleb Downs and whoever else. I mean, that's what it feels like. It's just like, all right, let's just break open the wallets. Let's grab this player. Let's grab this player. It'll be interesting in the next month how many Michigan players now get poached because of Harbaugh leaving too.
Yeah. So I saw a video, just a reel I came across on Instagram or something, that this crazy conspiracy and this crazy scenario could happen. You know, Bill Belichick is no longer the coach for the Patriots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady, he left Michigan with a year of eligibility remaining. He has been out of... Technically, he could still play one more year at Michigan, and Belichick could be their head coach now that they don't have a head coach, and they win a national championship together in college as well.
Well, I mean, Michigan does need another quarterback that can hand it off to those great running backs they got up there. I think Tom's not as mobile anymore. He could do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So, if Bill ever did anything in the college ranks, I'm going to tell you right now, because his father coached there as well, he would only do it at like Navy. He would make sure it's a service academy. He'd make him the best service academy in some time, and then he would just retire. And he wouldn't be. He would never look. That would probably be I'm going to say the opposite now. That'd probably be the only time you'd ever see him happy on the sidelines. Yeah. He's so just skulking on the sideline. I bet you it'd be the happiest day of his life coaching Navy football like his dad and just running the wishbone and hard-nosed defense.
That seems right up his alley.
I mean, that's how he ran the Patriots, man. They never had the dream teams or anything. And the one time they did have the dream team, they lost in the Super Bowl. So,
yep.
But, well, I mean, buddy, you got anything else? Otherwise, like we said, we wanted to make it a Cyclone quickie, and we appreciate everyone in the chat. But I mean, frankly, we really didn't have much else for this pod.
No, let's wrap this thing up.
Let's put a bow on it. Well, we appreciate everyone joining the chat. We'll try and be better. We've been slacking the last couple weeks, but Wednesdays at 9:00 is when we should be starting these weekly. We'll have a strong finish for the basketball season here, and then I guess we'll figure out what we do after that, because we don't have a baseball team to cheer for at our school. So I mean, why the hell do we need to go into the summer? You know?
No, that's break time, vacation time.
Yeah. We got to relax. It's just this weighs on us so much. This hard podcast we got to do.
It does.
Whew. So, all right. We appreciate everyone joining. We'll catch you guys next week.
See